Hey guys, what's up? Today I'll be talking about Godzilla Final Wars, and you might ask yourself this question: how come I'm not reviewing all the Godzilla movies before I get to this one? Well, it's something like this. Okay, there's some that I like all Godzilla movies, right? But there's only a couple of them that are like my most favorites, to be honest with you. And plus, it's all about the timing. It's hard for me to review about 29 Godzilla movies, I think. I'm just gonna minus the American dub version of the first Godzilla movie and Godzilla '98. To me, Godzilla '98, when you look back on it, I did enjoy the movie, but I didn't enjoy it as a Godzilla movie. I enjoyed it as like a monster flick. To me, if they changed the title to Godzilla, it would have been something different for a lot of people. But then you have the thoughts of this movie supposed to be a Godzilla movie, their version of it. But that's another story. The latest Godzilla movie I did enjoy. There was some faults in it, and hopefully the sequel for that version will could make up for those faults. Besides that, I just want to talk about the last Godzilla movie, and also what's important. I don't have like the Japanese uncut versions of it. Half of them I have uncut versions of the Japanese market one, the original cuts, but I don't have like the later cuts of it. Because the one like the '90s and 2000s, there are some scenes that are all kind of missing, and a lot of people don't know that when you look at the Japanese comparison to the American dub version, like for the '90s version. But even though I'm more towards like the '60s, '70s, '80s version, and the '80s version only had two. What people need to know is Godzilla 1984, aka '85 in the U.S., and Godzilla vs. Billante was both the '80s Godzilla movies. Billante. I'm sorry for saying the name wrong, but that movie came out in 1989. I believe it came out in '88 in Japan and '89 in the US, if I'm corrected. Then that came out in the '90s, so that doesn't count as a '90s Godzilla movie. So a lot of people need to realize that. So it really was actually two '80s. Besides all that confusing, blah blah blah, let me just start with the last one because it is the final movie until his retirement, and he is making a big comeback in 2016. Yes, which I'm not surprised because I tell a lot of people that don't believe me that watch when this new Godzilla movie coming out in 2014, the Japanese market is going to realize, you know what, Godzilla still have its popularity. Let's bring back the character in our form, and I knew it was going to happen. And same thing with Gamma, and if Gamma's going to come back, and even though it's not U.S. made or U.S. doesn't have a right to do their version of it. And no, there's no Godzilla vs. Gamma team up because that's never gonna happen because of pride between the two studios. I am so long with this damn intro, but I just want to get to the point with Godzilla Final War. Let's talk about the last movie right now. First off, one of my favorite Japanese director, Ryoko Tamura, did this movie. I was excited when I first heard about it. When this was released in Japan, I was able to get the Japanese dub version with the English subtitles. And I went by that cut, because I want the uncut version because I don't know how the American release will do with this movie. So I was fortunate to see the uncut version of this as it was supposed to be shown in the theaters. And there was one scene that was deleted. It wasn't really deleted because the Japanese theater did show the little bit longer scene where Godzilla was fighting King Caesar. Oh God, what's that four-legged Argolis, and what's the other monster's name? Shit, I already forgot the monster's name. Anyway, the three monster battle. Let's start with this. Let me just say what this movie's about. This movie's like 2 hours fucking long, right? And with Godzilla 50th anniversary, you expect for it to be epic, right? To me, it was not epic enough as I thought it was going to be because, you want to see more Godzilla, right? But then, of course, like any other Godzilla movie, you have to balance it out with the human aspects of it, or sometimes in Godzilla movie, the alien aspects of it. In this case, human, alien, and monster aspects, all three in one. How can you balance it, And Ryoko Tamura, if you see his movies, of course, he put his flavor into the movie, his action style, which you have like human and mutants, like these humans become mutants that have to defend the human race against Godzilla and bigger monsters pretty much. So they got like a special organization that was like the future of this cinematic universe of the Godzillaverse. And You see them like in military outfit, riding like these ships, battling different monsters. Even humans could fight. Even the mutated humans, excuse me, could fight a giant lobster. You believe that shit? Um, and you had your intro with this popular MMA fighter in the U.S. I mean in Japan, but he's an American guy. I forgot his name, but he's popular in Japan. He is actually a real mixed martial artist, one of the grandfathers of MMA, pretty much. But he was in this movie as the captain. Him and his crew defeated Madra, the giant dragon snake monster, pretty much, in the beginning of this movie. And you had your story that he was jailed for kind of like disobeying orders, pretty much, for protecting his crew from his own terms. He has to make his own decisions, protect his own crew. And as the movie progressed, you get to that story about these mutants are training. They're part of this organization. And as the movie progressed, you have this guy who's kind of like a bodyguard for the scientist. And as the movie progressed, let's fast forward. You have like the alien part of it, and people like get excited because they thought the aliens came in peace. Once they find out their true motive and what they really look like, you got one of the alien members who's like this young alien guy. So he decided, you know what, I want to become the leader. I'm going to take control, and you humans are going to be cattle. So pretty much that's when you get alien invasion aspects of it. And the alien invaders end up sending the monster they were able to control and start trying to destroy the human race and have some of the humans as cattle, so for food pretty much. And as the movie progressed, the American guy, the captain they freed from the prison, they freed him, asked him for his advice pretty much. And what he had plans is that, if we're going to stop these alien invaders, we got to free Godzilla. Have Godzilla help us defeat the monsters and defeat the alien, while the humans and the one mutant hero of this movie teaming up to stop the alien race and hopefully stop the monsters, with the help of Godzilla. And of course, that's when you finally have like 1 hour to the movie. You finally have Godzilla awaken. He's gonna go out, destroy all the monsters. And one of the biggest mistakes in this movie was that, like I say, you want this to be epic, right? The Godzilla battle scenes are not even long. And you have monsters in this movie that did not even made a second appearance until now, that we never seen for a long time, like Hedorah. Oh my god, I forgot, the Hedorah fight scenes was stupidly done. It was too short, and the way Hedorah died so quick with the lobster. I mean, I don't want to ruin that moment scene. You guys check this out. King Caesar finally makes a second appearance, and it wasn't even epic. These monsters died too quickly, And the only battle that was kind of longer was like the Gigan battle against Godzilla. Mothra battle was a little bit longer, I would say, in my opinion. So those two battles was kind of longer, but one of the longer battles is with the final battle when you have Godzilla versus Monster X, who of course later will become King Ghidorah. Who will transform to that creature towards the end of the movie. And you got a lot of heavy action scenes with the mutants, humans doing martial arts, fight against the aliens, even fight among themselves when the mutants that was supposed to serve the human race end up being like possessed by the alien who had the superpower. Yeah, he's like pretty much involved, and it's pretty much how it ends. Godzilla was able to defeat all the monsters, the humans, and the human that was like a mutant, end up saving the Earth, defeating the alien race pretty much. All in all, this movie it wasn't bad. It was alright, but it could have been better if they had balanced it out more towards the creature. In my opinion, I believe they should have balanced out more for the monsters than the story aspect of the humans and aliens. That shit could have been cut down. This movie was like 2 hours something. You know what I'm saying? We could have that down. You can add in that story. You can add in the mutants and human aspects, alien invasion aspects in it. But don't drag it out too long. That was the problem with me for this movie. And let the monster battles be more longer. Let them have longer monster fight scenes. Let them have longer Godzilla versus the monster fight scenes. You know what I'm saying? Because this is more towards for Godzilla. This is for Godzilla Final Wars. This is a Godzilla movie. Let's be real. 2 hours plus. 2 hours. You could add in longer monster battles. Seriously. And when Rio Kitamura did this movie, I don't know what he was thinking, but I think he wanted to put more of his flavor in it. He's trying to be different, you know, but it wasn't different because you had some moves that were like Matrix moves. So it's like he borrowed some stuff, you know. He borrowed a little bit of Star Wars too, a little bit if you think about it. And one of the scenes when the renegade alien told the hero mutant about his powers, that your powers need to be awakened or something, he just uses all his powers to shock him. Similar to Return of the Jedi when the Dark Lord was shocking Luke Skywalker, you know what I'm saying? But it could have been, to me, it was enjoyable. It was alright. It wasn't good enough, you know. And you know, maybe it was because it was too much for Yuki Tomorrow to add in, but he tried his best to. I think he wanted to add in more to it, you know. But my opinion, he should add in more monster fights, and it should have been more longer. That's my opinion. One thing that was epic, I would say, at least one thing that was epic, is when Godzilla got rid of the '98 Godzilla, you know. So I give credit for that. But besides that, it could be a little bit more, you know. But anyway, peace, guys. See you later.